And I'm taking a moment to film this just so I can laugh at myself later if I decide it was a bad idea. I borrowed my brother-in-law Chuck's truck and my brother's enclosed trailer. My sister saved a bunch of old fence posts for us, deciding where to put them. I think I'm going to throw them on this stack of cedar logs, come back and get them, use them for corduroy. Now, I'm laughing at myself because I walked and walked and walked. The ground's all frozen and solid, so I think that's good. But what I convinced myself is that the empty trailer will go right up that hill behind the truck. I'll know here in about an hour if I've done something stupid. But in the meanwhile, this should work out. It's like the perfect place to unload these. And like I say, this is the meadow. We enter the property. It's been cleared some years ago, and the ground is frozen solid. So this should work out. Last time I was in the UP, this is what I was expecting. And that's why we pulled out a day early when I saw that all what snow there was then, which about, maybe shin high, was melting and it was supposed to rain. This stuff turns to goo pretty quickly, so this trip I'm more fortunate that the ground is frozen, so I shouldn't have any problem. Now, if you're wondering why I took that as aggressively as I did, that's my brother-in-law's work truck. It has open diffs at each end. So yeah, it was 4-low, and that's good. The main reason is I was parked right here, and the truck sat for a while, and okay. And I'm in, 4-low, and I just gently hit the gas to go forward and immediately spun the tires. Because I think, like one tire was probably up in here, maybe over there. One tire was back here. 2 tires had very limited traction, so kind of gave me the impression this might be more exciting than I'd like. So I backed up. Thankfully it bit going backwards, moved back just about a foot, went forwards, just made a circle, just made it in front of that stump where people have been shooting bottles, around, and right around here I gave it the beans. As you may have heard, I don't know if the sound picked it up, that is not an off-road trailer. It does not like to be driven fast over bumpy frozen ground, but this is the hill, which is pretty steep. Cameras never do it justice, but more importantly, there's a stretch of icy snow. So I just had to make sure I had momentum. I didn't want to have to spin the tires until they bit down to the gravel. And yeah, once, of course, the trailer's empty on the way out, full on the way in. It would have been interesting to see if I could have pulled that thing up full. Not a challenge I'm up for out here by myself. But yeah, you can see the truck, spun the snow a little bit, but nothing bad. The nice thing about a long wheelbase is there's only this short patch here where the back wheels and the front wheels were both on a slippery surface. By then I had enough momentum. There's no way it was going to hold up, and you can see very little tire spin, so the truck did all right. All right, well, today's a little different. Heading out to Indiana and drive up with Fred, bring tractor Smurf up to the acreage in Michigan, and I'm trying out the new solar setup. Got the pole separated from the panel. This is how it turns out it can pack. First time I'm going to try that setup. And I think that's it. This little jobber has stopped working. I spent about 10 minutes fighting with the bulbs, so got to look at the wiring there, or that might be that little fixture has just gotten too corroded. Otherwise, head over, buy fuel, head to Indiana, and later this morning, maybe this afternoon, head up to the UP. All right, well, it's about 10 past 11, so that's not too bad. We'll leave about noon. Probably be dark when we get there. But could be worse. We got tractor Smurf all loaded up and secured, ready to go up to the property in the UP there. Fred will be driving Chuck's truck. I'll be driving my truck. We should be good. And Hummer's all happy. New transfer case, new tires, new sway bar. We'll get back on the road here. See how we do tomorrow morning. All right, maiden voyage of Tractor Smurf in the UP. Okay, I think I'm going to have to revise my plan. I drove the tractor out here thinking I'd scoop the lake rock and kind of level some of that out. Problem is the tractor has no traction on that ice. So as I try to maneuver, I slip and slide on the ice, and I'm in danger of stranding the tractor on the lakeshore, unable to move because of the ice. I don't have chains on the tires, something not anticipated. With chains on those tires, I'd tear it right up. Fortunately, this I can move with a hand shovel. Now, one more complication is I can't get back all the way up onto the county road because I had to slide down an ice hill when I entered in. So I think I'm going to go by Paulie and Mickey's road, see if they don't mind. I'll just park Tractor Smurf over by them, get the Hummer down here with a hand shovel, get the chainsaw, finish clearing out my camp spot here. Still morning, so I got plenty of time to get this done. It's not going to be as efficient as I'd hoped, but it should still work fine. This is going to be one of the more unusual recoveries. I'm going to drive the tractor up the hill, use a combination of winch line and chain, get that connected, and then I'll gradually pull the winch up the hill with the tractor up the hill with the winch. Would be nice to have two drivers here, but right now I think I can safely do this. Try and let the winch rest here for a second. And you see the tractor has no bite at all when the winch is not pulling. You really don't want to do the whole winch line without a rest. Get it up a little higher, then I can just pull it with the truck. I'm just going to take it up the rest of the way with the truck. I got it in neutral. Let's do this last bit. Paulie's going to go ahead and jump on there and steer it, and I'll just pull the truck. I don't want to burn up that winch motor. We got it far enough there. That worked out well for both of us, huh? I'm glad you just happened to choose to leave. I thought, well, I could go ask Paulie. I thought, I don't want to bother him. He's relaxing. I can just pull this tractor. All right, one step at a time. So the morning, most of the video is on the iPhone. Got the tractor down to the lakeshore. Two exciting bits using Mickey and Paulie's road. Couldn't get the tractor back out. It was exciting going in. There's ice. When you get in this freeze thaw, certain shaded hills and slopes can become skating rinks. So I got my cleats on, my crampons, but yeah, the tractor, I don't have chains on it, and I didn't bring my tire chains. Note to future self, don't save the few pounds of weight, even when there's no snow on the ground up here. If there's any freezing and thawing going on, you need those chains. I don't have to get a set of chains for the tractor, because that's just going to be part of its life up here. So took the truck back, put the receiver winch on the rear receiver, pulled the tractor up the hill. While I was in the middle of doing that, Paulie showed up because he was about to drive his truck out, and he knew he was going to have a heck of a time. It's a two-wheel drive truck. because it got pretty exciting on him going down the hill. So I told him, why don't you let me pull the tractor up, then we'll pull your truck up. So we did. So I've got a little bit of footage of that on the iPhone. So that's that. Now I'm going to run out of daylight if I don't get cracking. So I still don't want to pull the trailer down to the lake shore with the tractor, etc. I realized I'm going to have to do this by hand. So I'm going to grab one of the chainsaws, the shovel, and I'm going to try and get as level a campsite as I can manage before the sun gets close to dusk, and then I'll pull the trailer down, set up camp by the lakeshore. But you know, like people say, the adventure mindset. Nothing so far this weekend went exactly according to plan, but that's okay, because the plan can change, and we're out here to have fun. I'm limiting the footage just because I got to get done. See the guys out in ice houses out on the lake. I drove down here where I had Tractor Smurf earlier today. Got my shovel. Got the chainsaw, gonna open up the entrance a little bit, flatten out the exit, smooth it out, drive the truck around it a couple of times. When I'm satisfied it's okay to do it with the trailer, I'm gonna bring the trailer down and set up. Got one Widowmaker that wants to fall the wrong way. Really dulled up the chain, carving through that fallen log because it's too frozen to the ground, and that's hard yellow birch. It does not cut easily. Now my tire is going to go over that pile of logs. There's a low spot there. I'm only concerned about the other side of the low spot, and I'm running out of daylight. So I've got to pull the truck up this far, cleared out the entrance a little bit. I'm going to kind of park it in here, probably use the winch, get that leaner that I cut to fall the rest of the way. That's right, you can't really even see it. That cedar's up against it. And then I've got to hurry up, go get the trailer and bring it down, because I've only got 2-3 hours left to get my trailer in here and set up camp. So that little bit of high and dry right there with a couple of small stumps in it, that's where I think it's going to make sense to set up the trailer. We'll see how it works. Quite what you think it is until you try it. So I can only just get in between that tree and these trees, so that was good. What was more exciting is, again, the lake rock kind of shifts underneath you as you try to drive on it. So it's not the confidence building surface that you would like. And I had to hit it with some speed because my back tires on the lake ice were just sliding around. But fortunately, lockers, good tires, without even chains, not even aired down, was able to grab the ice enough to bring the truck up here. But the truck actually changed direction just sitting on the ice, so that was annoying. All right, so another one of these situations where I don't need a tree protector because the tree's already dead. So I got my winch set up here. A direct line to the bottom of that tree. I already cut the base out, but it didn't fall. And I can feel the tension on the truck. It's kind of nudged against me. Even though it's kind of plowing the ground there. So I really need it to fall into that clearing, but that yellow birch behind it is so strong, it's holding it up at the other end. once I get enough of an angle here, pulling this end back, it'll fall, but it will fall. It's definitely pruning the cedars around it. That is amazing. The top of that tree still has not fallen. Just gonna end up dragging it out sideways here. There it goes. In two pieces, that's something. So it's another reason why you stay clear. I didn't see that. It didn't fall. It broke in the middle, then fell, and then the other two pieces fell after it. That was something else. All right, fire the chainsaw back up, fill in the holes, drive through here, go get the trailer, and set up camp before nightfall. Other than that, it'll be an easy day. All right, you know, it never works out quite the way you plan. So I was debating which cliche is more appropriate. You don't get what you want, but you get what you need. Or you may not start out the way you planned, but all's well that ends well. So it hasn't quite ended yet. I've got to drive through this, and I'm fairly confident I haven't set myself up for failure. Had to cut down 2 widowmakers. One was leaning, the other was not. Didn't really notice the second one until I cleared out the first. I am running out of daylight now, so I'm gonna drive out of here, make sure everything's fine. I might drive through it twice just to make sure I'm comfortable doing it. And then I'm gonna go get the trailer, drive the trailer through here and set up camp. All right, I'm driving through the second time and I'm having my doubts, mostly because of the excitement on the lake. So the GoPro won't catch that, but there's a huge ice flow of sorts sitting right at the entrance. So I don't know that I can get the trailer situated without just sitting on the ice. So without chains, well, we'll see. I'll check this out one more time. If I had tire chains, it would be exciting. Without tire chains, I'm afraid it might just be stupid, but we'll see. you're wondering, well, why don't I air down and so on and so forth? Well, when you're pulling several hundred pounds of trailer, you got to have something in the tank. In this case now, I drove through here, I think that was 3 times. I've already lost track. Each time something slightly different weird happened. Looks like a tire might have fallen into there. So you don't know till you try what's going to fail and what's not. So I need to put some more decent sized logs. It's more exciting, at least more frustrating to me, because I know I got a winch. I know I can pull myself out. But when you're using front and rear lockers just to navigate through here, there's no way I want to pull a 700-pound dead trailer with no brakes behind me doing it. So I have more work to do there in that low spot, I think, just reinforcing, but I've got the landscape timbers. I can just throw them in there. And I think where I cut the pattern on the fallen log is okay. But here's the more frustrating part, and I just don't know if I feel like messing with this on this trip. The reason I'm digging in a lake rock like that is I can't get a good start because of where the ice is. So at this point, with the trailer, I'm probably winching my way into the area, which I've had to do before. I've had to winch myself into campsites, but with the tractor, I could make very short work of this and just kind of use the bucket to rearrange the rock, but I can't do that when the back tires of the tractor are also buried in the ice, or I shouldn't say buried, but spinning on top of the ice. If I had chains on either, I suppose I wouldn't care about that part, but again, I didn't bring chains, thinking the snow had mostly melted, which, as you can see in the woods, it mostly has. I left only just enough room to get through here. Zero margin for error, so. And that's something I probably should have recorded. Analyzed it, walked it, analyzed it, walked it. Gave it the beans. Front rear lock. Got a straight line. Hit it fast, and momentum can cure a lot of traction problems. All right, so I'm up the hill. Definitely not going camping down there tonight. So it is what it is. Okay, it's been a very challenging evening. Just because I started getting the chills. It's really not cold out. It's only like 33, and I'm wearing layers, but yeah, the cold really started to get to me. So this is first time using this bit of gear. Very popular, advertised by a lot of the overlanding YouTubers, and it is a very good idea. So in this case, when you're on frozen ground, it's nice to be able to build a fire, and you don't have to melt all the snow and let the water come in and flood your fire. So I got all this set up before sundown, which is good. These LED lights are a recent ad. Haven't put up my solar panel. Test that little project tomorrow. It's one reason I try not to mess with too many things. Otherwise, every trip out is a shakedown. But this is working out really well. I've got 3 LED pods. Now it's super bright right now because I've got the truck running with the light bar, but that's mostly just because I retreated in there freezing cold. Not because it's that cold out, but because sometimes, you know, the cold just hits you. I bent down to pick up some sticks, and it's like, whoa! I felt contact with my clothes, and I felt freezing. So, once I thaw out a bit, I'll go ahead and throw my sleeping gear in the tent. Haven't decided if I'm going to bring the propane heater in there with me or not. Don't think I will. I just don't think I need it. And I do have a 12-volt sleeping bag. I might just use that for the same purpose, where when you're chilly in the evening and in the morning, you just use that. We'll see how it goes. But again, it's not really that cold, although it always feels a lot colder when you're camping in snow. People forget that. There's just that chill of the snow sucking the heat out of the air around it. All right, it's Sunday. I was going to say morning, but it's actually afternoon. Just got back from church, and first thing on my agenda was test out the new solar system. So this is still a work in progress. You can see I don't have it at the top of the pole. I did find out, much to my happiness, that I was right, that once I hit it up on the top of the pole, I can turn it in every direction around the tent. It'll actually, you see that distance there, the distance between the two clamps, those black lines where the bottom clamp would be. That means I can really maneuver it a pretty big sweeping direction above the tent. The problem is, it's just the panel itself is just too heavy. The newer Rich Solar panels are several pounds lighter, but they're still heavy. So I just got to think about that. Now, if I were out here with the big step ladder, it'd be no big deal. I just loosen the clamps, slide it up the pole, tighten the clamps enough to hold it, and then cinch them down good and proper. But out here by myself, you know, I don't really feel like climbing up there. I mean, that's the other thing I could do without a ladder. I can just climb up on my framework, and I can lift it up from above. But there's no point in doing that here today, because the sun is right where it is, and the panel is right into the sun. So even on a day with partly sunny, there's a few clouds in the sky, I'm getting quite a bit of good solar charge there. So that's that. So my other plans for today are to get the tractor buttoned up to be left here in the winter cold, fly the drone, and test out my new snowshoes. So I think I'm going to do the snowshoes next. I think it'll be kind of fun. Just take a little hike after I finally make my lunch. It's a beautiful day today. I'm going to go ahead and keep the GoPro with me. I'm going to hike down to the trail that enters our property and test out my snowshoes. It's been a mild winter. It's probably one of the last chances to take the snowshoes out. And there's still enough snow on the trail down to our property that I think these will work. I can do this with the camera in my hand. But I will say, messing with these earlier, man, they put a lot of thought into gear like this. The clips are so easy. No, I'm not a skier. Maybe people would be unimpressed compared to modern ski equipment, but you can see there's basically just two straps. You set them first, which I did at home, and then you pretty much just put them back in place. I think this is the one that impressed me the most. How easy it is to... Oh, that hooked a little bit, didn't it? There we go. How easy it is to tighten and loosen this. So I can just kind of slide that into place, and I just pull up on this guy, and that gets a good snug fit, and I can release it right there. And then similarly in the back, there's this little finger squeeze and pull, which I can't do with the GoPro in my hand, but you get the idea. So again, very impressed, just playing around in the yard. All right, and we're off. Well, that's not so bad. I feel pretty comfortable. Main thing I like about the snowshoes isn't just the increase in surface area and keeping some of the ice and snow off my toes. It's the large cleats beneath. I've already given them a dexterity exercise. I forgot my satellite beacon, so I had to climb the stairs to the rooftop tent with the snowshoes on, at least first 2 or 3, to reach in and grab the beacon, and that worked okay. All right. There's the trail. Beautiful sunshine today. I get a kick out of the fact that so many varmints seem to have come to appreciate the trails we've made. Yeah, that was nice actually there. I kind of stayed on top of the snow. Alright, now kind of entering the trail itself. There's a lot of fresh deer scat and the hoof marks. So as my trail camera has shown, at least a few deer have come to enjoy this trail. Some of the details just haven't quite worked out. how realistic is it to be able to get our trailer, the Jeep, the Hummer, out here into the forest in the winters where there is more snow. I'd say so far it's encouraging. The only real issues I've encountered so far are the two entrances off the county road. It's part of the reason we brought the tractor down. This is the other place where I camp quite a bit. I think I might cut up that tree and move it back sometime this spring or summer. Not so bad. Trail's in good shape. As always, I need to wave to the trail cam. And you can still see some of my ruts from the major battle I had in here. Interesting. Yes, this clearing does get a fair bit of snow. Yeah, I'm just staying right on top of it, which is really handy. And that way I really need to clear that stump, don't I? Make a little more room on that side. You can tell definitely some work to do here to make this less exciting when I drive through it with these bad boys, so they don't clack together. And I've got an unusual gait. It's hard to explain, but I tend to put one foot directly in line with the other foot. So I thought snowshoes might give me some trouble, but so far so good. Now this too, I'm not going to do the little attachment, but that's where that heel step goes. I guess I'm standing here, I might as well. The idea behind that is you swing that into place when you're going up or down a hill. And it preserves the angle of a normal step when you climb something steep. Now this is all of about 3 steps, so I don't know, it really makes that big a difference, but we'll check it out. Yeah, actually, that's kind of handy. It turns a slippery climb into walking up a flight of stairs because my foot is level. It's actually really handy. People who installed those weren't crazy. And now that I'm up, I just swing it back where it was. And everything's back to normal. So I'm glad I camped in the meadow. It was getting late. I didn't want to fool around, but definitely this is very accessible. Let's see what there is to see here. There's where the deer continue the trail. That's actually not bad. It's a little exciting right here in this first turn. As long as the front wheels of the tractor have any traction at all, which they wouldn't in winter. When I came in here with the Hummer and the trailer, it did try to slide me into that tree. So you could probably level this out a little bit. That's really not too bad. Yeah, so once again, so I was a little concerned because I saw this big berm of snow right at the entrance, but that's the only place it is, and that's just from the plow pushing it over here. I'll head back the way I came. That is very encouraging. Alright, that wasn't a bad little walk. I think I'll set both heel things to walk up that hill, see how it goes. But I gotta say, it's way easier to walk around here on snow in snowshoes. Twist that jobber around. I'll do the same on this side. And let's see how that feels just to walk up instead of climb. Oh wow. That's like just stupid easy. That was literally just walking up a flight of stairs. I thought it was odd that they would equip snowshoes with such a thing, but now I get it. That's incredibly handy. All right, back to camp. Alright, we're going to take a little video of me attempting to get better at flying the drone. We'll see how well I do.
Go to sleep, you little babe. 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 Mom's gone away and your dad's gonna stay. Didn't leave nobody but the baby. Go to sleep, you little babe. 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 Everybody's gone in the car and the car didn't leave nobody but the baby. You're a sweet little babe. You're a sweet little babe. You're a sweet little babe. You're a sweet little honey in the rock and the sugar don't stop. Don't bring a bottle to the baby. Don't you weep, pretty babe. Don't you weep, pretty babe. Don't you weep, pretty babe. Don't you weep, Go to sleep, you little babe. 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 You and me and the devil makes three. Don't need no other love, babe. Go to sleep, you little 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 babe. Come and lay your bones on the alabaster stones and be my ever-loving babe.
All right, got everything put away, ready to go. The GoPro just gave me the dreaded SD card error. Hopefully it's not true. I've had it do that before in cold weather and then turn it back on later, and it didn't insist that I reformat it. But stranger things have happened, so I may have lost all of the GoPro footage from this trip. We'll see when I get home. And ready to head out. Two quick things. One, you can never be too careful with a high lift jack. I use the high lift jack as my bumper jack, and I was being careless and I flicked the release from up to down as I lifted the tongue, and I felt the breeze of the handle whip by my right cheek. If that had hit me in the head, could have killed me. Certainly could have left me out here bleeding in the freezing cold. Not good. So always got to remember it's at the end of camp that you're tired, and this is a really challenging camp, not in bad ways, just one of those where I was tired, feeling anxiety, and you have these moments of like deep introspection, and that's what I was having this trip. It's hard to explain. There's an old Mary Tyler Moore episode that did this very well, where everyone is sitting in the office and collectively they still feel that moment of deep insight, and one by one the memory fades, and one of them finally says something like, no, we're losing it, and then they lose it too, and they all start talking about work. So sometimes on a trip like this, it's important to hang on to that little moment, that moment of challenge and doubt that just clarified everything for you. In my case, I just sat here thinking about our children, my wife, the time I wish I had spent out camping with them. I did plenty, but you always wish you could have done more. And if nothing else, that's what a solo cold weather camping trip can do for you. It really, really brings clarity.